Health officials say the numbers will get worse before they get better. Joining us now from Miami, Florida, is Dr. Annalee Baker, an emergency physician. Dr. Baker, do you think hospitals here in America and doctors have the capacity to cope with what seems to be coming down the line?
Thank you for having me, Laura. Well, I certainly hope we have what it takes. All of us are very nervous about what the winter brings. We've seen this surge upon a surge following the Thanksgiving holiday. It's already starting to ramp up. The hospitals are getting more strained, and we're having flashbacks to what it was like over the summer. But I do think that we're in a better position in many ways. We are much more familiar with how to treat this virus. I think we have formed a great deal of solidarity with one another, supporting each other through all of the different trials and tribulations. Certainly we're going to be there for everybody, no matter what happens. But we're also hoping that Americans are following all of the guidelines, because every little last bit helps.
Yes, and to your point, the Centers for Disease Control says that nearly 20,000 Americans could die in Christmas week alone. But if we all wear masks and do our bit, that doesn't have to happen, does it?
I think that's right. We've seen over and over again throughout the pandemic that we actually have a great deal of power as just everyday citizens. Every decision that we make could have an impact, and not necessarily for us, but maybe for our neighbor or for an elderly grandparent. And I know that everybody has heard this over and over again, but it really does bear repeating. We have seen that in places with mask mandates, for example, they're seeing a blunted level of surge, even with the Thanksgiving travel that occurred. I just think that the public health guidelines are there for a reason, and they've served us well so far, to the extent that we've been able to convince people to implement them. And it's been a long, long year, but the best we can do, we've got to hunker down and get through these next few months until the vaccine really rolls out and starts taking effect.
And when it comes to the vaccine, former presidents Obama, Bush and Clinton and Dr. Anthony Fauci have all said that they would take it on TV to try and increase public confidence in the vaccine. Do you think that would help?
I think it could definitely help. I was very pleased to see that. We're definitely fighting an uphill battle in terms of the public information campaign. There's a great deal of skepticism about vaccines in general, but particularly about these vaccines, which were developed at such a rapid rate. I think the public needs to be informed. They need to have their questions answered. There should be conversations ongoing between patients and their physicians, even as early as now, to start sort of getting at why people are so skeptical and answering their questions, and the answers to some of these questions might be, I don't know. And that's okay. But I think it's great to hear that these, respected public officials are going to be doing that. And we've got to do it on the ground as well. So we're trying to educate patients day by day, when things come up, because I do think apart from the logistical nightmare of distributing the vaccine in an equitable manner, which is certainly a big concern, it's also the vaccine is only effective if people take it. So.
Absolutely. Dr. Annalee Baker, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.